Hi, my name's Debbie. I'm a compulsive eater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet. I write it down. I call it into my sponsor. I don't eat in between no matter what. It's the most important thing I do every day. My abstinent state is January 18, 2013. Wasn't the day I picked, just the day I got abstinent. It was just, one more day to try. And so let me see, I'm 58 years old, and I think my top weight was about 220. I didn't write it down. I wasn't weighing too much when I got that high. And when I came to Gray Sheet, I was about 187, and that was sort of like keeping both feet on the brakes, and it was slowly increasing. And then I guess at last weigh day, I was about 150, which is a little bit higher than I'd like. And I'm 5'8". And so anyway, I'm 58, and I can remember struggling with food and my weight ever since I was young. Like when I was 6 or 7, I remember in first grade writing a story about a place you could go and eat everything you want to and not get fat. And then I can remember asking my grandmother, I was like, this stuff I like and that stuff I like. I was like, do you outgrow that? And she was like, oh yeah, kids like that stuff and then they outgrow it. And kids do outgrow that stuff. And I didn't actually. I just started liking it more and more and more. And I wasn't binging as a young girl, but I definitely like the things that we don't eat. And so I probably start, and I just want to say I come from a good family. We had 3 meals a day. My mom didn't keep junk in the house. My family wasn't like, you got to be perfect and look perfect. They weren't critical. I was just sort of always overweight, and I look at pictures and it's not like I was overweight. And it bothered me, and I was self-conscious, and I didn't like it. And I remember starting a diet when I was about 13, and that was just, a low-calorie diet, and getting one of those encyclopedias of all the calories and different foods. And the main ammunition that I used to control my eating and my weight throughout my entire life was 3 things: Overeaters Anonymous, which I never had any success with; Weight Watchers, I don't think I ever lost more than 5 pounds there. I was just paying their tuition. I was just buying hope with them, I think. Yes, I am going to lose weight. You are going to give me a food plan. I'm going to follow it. And I couldn't. And then exercise. And I was just a fat girl at the gym. So my eating just progressed over time. In my 20s, I remember getting really into aerobics and working out, and my weight came down a little bit. I think it got down to 170, and I thought that was manageable. I think I look okay when I saw pictures of myself, but I was really fighting to maintain that and exercising a lot. And I was binging. I'm not a grazer. I'm sort of somebody who doesn't eat all day and has really low blood sugar, and I'm weak. And then this is like a generic gay for me. I come home from my job, which I don't like anyway, and the only way I can the highlight of my day is going to Vons or a grocery store and getting all this food, and then eating. And then after I eat, I exercise, but the exercise doesn't get rid of all the calories I eat. And so that's generally what my life looks like. I'm not a grazer. I go to parties and I eat the green leafy stuff, and you're probably wondering why I'm eating that stuff, and I don't look like I eat that stuff. So um, um, let me see. Hmm. I went to Alcoholics Anonymous because I had a drinking problem, and I got sober there. And Alcoholics Anonymous and working steps 6 and 7 did not treat my food problem. And getting sober, I don't believe, made my food problem worse. It just sort of gave me some clarity about, like, I feel miserable, and the way I, like, when I'm binging, I don't, and my stomach's all extended, I really don't feel like going to an AA meeting. And what happened to me was, as my binging, I had about 10 years of sobriety, and when I was 40 years old, and my binging had gotten so bad that I was just really withdrawn from the program and ended up drinking again. I had a really good idea that if I started drinking again, that maybe I wouldn't be binging as much. And so for me, when I'm in the food, my thinking just gets so wrong. I don't even know what to call it. It's insane. I come up with solutions to problems that are like worse than the problem. And so anyway, so then I was fat and drunk, and I got sober about 9 months later, fortunately. And then when I was about 5 years sober again in AA, my binging, it was just getting bad and bad and bad. And I just remember praying to God, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to stay sober if I don't find a solution to this. I went to OA, and I didn't have any success there. I was just always changing my definition of abstinence. Sometimes it was 6 small meals. Sometimes it was like, I'll do Weight Watchers 30 points and commit that to my sponsor. And every time I wanted to eat, I changed my food plan. And it was really frustrating for me to go there. I never made any friends there or anything. When I got abstinent in Gray Sheet, I'm in San Diego, and there were no face-to-face meetings. I got abstinent on the phone bridge because I found our website, and I asked my sponsor if I should go to OA, to help my Gray Sheet abstinence, because at least those were face-to-face meetings. And she said, I would suggest you don't, because they carry a different message than we do. So I didn't, and she was right. And so I do remember I had one spiritual experience around the food. I remember being in the kitchen and eating something we avoid. It was in the middle of a binge, and I was pouring Comet or dishwashing soap on it so I could stop eating. And as I was doing that, as I had this pause in my binge, I didn't hear an audible voice, but I heard something say, "This battle is mine." And I didn't get abstinent the next day. In fact, I didn't get abstinent for a couple more years. But that happened, and I can remember, like, after these binges, like after I would binge, I wouldn't sleep well, and then I'd be nervous and shaky for like the next day, as like the garbage is getting out of my system. And I would just think, like, if this is your battle, like, I'm getting my ass kicked here. But anyway, that's just what was going on in my head. So actually, so I'm going to OA, and I found our website, and I didn't know there was a Gray Sheet community. I thought it was something OA did, and then they stopped it because it was a starvation diet and a bad idea. So I didn't really know there was a community to followed the GreySheeter that it existed. And I called somebody in GreySheet that I didn't know that lived across the country, and I didn't like interview her and like ask like, do you have a quality life, or can you be my sponsor? Do I want what you have? I just knew she was abstinent, and oh, thank you. I just knew she was abstinent and she knew the program. After I got to know her over time, she did have a quality life and all that other stuff, but I just needed somebody who was abstinent who could sponsor me, and she agreed. Actually, what she said was, I'm going on a trip. I won't be back till Monday. And I don't like to impose on people or be a burden. And I was willing to be a burden on her. And I said, will you please help me? I really need help. And she agreed. And she started sponsoring me, and she sponsored me for a very long time. And I don't know, when I called her, she just wanted to hear about the food. That was it. She just kept it really simple to me. Really, the only life situations I would discuss with her would be like situations that would affect my food. Like, I'm going to an event and they're eating when I'm not eating. What should I do? And you know, this sort of thing. One thing else, like, I'm not an old timer in GreySheet, so I can't like be like, oh, when I got abstinent, you know, back in the day, because it hasn't been that long. It's been 11 years. But I will say, when I got abstinent, it like, you didn't make food changes. Like, if you committed something nasty for dinner, you didn't feel like eating, you just ate it anyway. And then like, oh, well, the next day when you commit, you know, like, don't call somebody with a food change. And for me, what that did, and so I still practice that, because it keeps the food quiet. If I know it's an option that I can change dinner, I'm going to be thinking about it like all day. That's just going to keep the voice loud. And sometimes I hear new people and they'll like call me wanting to make food change because they found something at the store, and it's like, wow, that's such a disservice. It's hurting you. It sounds sexy and fun, but it's not. It's keeping the food talking. And I need, you know, one of the reasons I go to meetings and I have a small commitment in GSA, I just want the food to be quiet. I want a little bit of peace, and I have that. So I just want to keep doing what I'm doing as far as that goes. I was also told not to make my sponsor didn't require this. I just heard it and it helped me not to make major changes in year one. So I had this job I didn't like, and I just stayed with it. And I'm glad I did, because I'm still with the company. And after more than a year, I got a better position within the company. And then I had this apartment I didn't like that I was paying too much rent for. And I was just like, I'm just going to work on being abstinent and nothing else. Like, they talked about making GreySheet a rehab for year one. And I was just like, this has been the biggest problem I've ever had in my life. I don't know why I'm abstinent, but after, I wasn't able to follow any diets when I got here. And so like, after day 3 of abstinence, it's not that I didn't want to eat. It was that I do want to eat and I'm not eating. So something miraculous is happening. I have this window. I better not let go of it. And I've kept that belief. I don't look at other programs or anything else. I'm not sure. Well, I think it's the no matter what message more than anything else. But this is what God has given me as a solution to my problem, and I don't want to go back to the former life. You know, even before I lost weight, I just started feeling like tremendous hope once I started committing my food and got abstinent. And it's my 3 meals and committing my food and abstinence. It's just an anchor in my life. It's just what everything else revolves around, and it needs to revolve around. And it's actually kind of simple and easy now. It wasn't always, but anyway, I don't think I talked about anything, but I think that was 15 minutes. So I guess I'll stop there. Thank you.